So the next category, and these categories, because some of them are quite close, you're not allowed to pick this. I'll explain.
Not allowed to replicate across categories.
So for example, the next one is fighter to become world champion. When we come on to the topic of champion to lose title, you can't have the same guy. So you can't say, well, he's going to become world champion because he's going to beat him. So you have to have different ones. Not that Barry would have prepared anyway, but anyway, moving on.
I wrote some down.
Oh, he's got his pad. The pad has made it into 2022. Okay, Barry. Well, we'll go with you first because you've got your pad and you're ready.
But I scribbled it down. I can't read my own writing.
Fighter to become world champion in 2022.
Josh Warrington, domestically. I think he beats Martinez.
Okay.
I know stylistically it's a hard fight for him. Always would be, and always will be. But I'm just betting against Martinez all the time because I just think you can't just you're old. You just can't.
It's an Indian summer that still keeps going.
Since about 2014. it's like literally like, oh, can you keep going? It's impossible. So I think Warrington, if he's smart and can make the weight okay, I think he's huge for the weight. You see him when he's out the training, he looks like a middleweight.
Wow.
And I think they're bulking up and then maybe like water loading thing. I don't know what they do, but I think he could beat him. So I think he'll win the world title again. Is that okay? Can he?
You can go with that. Josh Warrington is your UK fighter to win a world title in 2022. Internationally, a fighter who is not world champion who could.
Chris Colbert.
Okay. Are we? Well, he's okay, but is he a world champion now?
Kind of is, isn't he?
A WBA regular.
Isn't he fighting? See, it is for the genuine title.
You're moving the goalpost a bit, Rob. But he's not. No, he's not. He's a regular champion. He's not a real world champion.
Yeah.
Unless you are Mr.
Well, no, because the 130-pound super featherweight champion is. Has he got the super Gutierrez?
Yeah. That's what, as far as I'm aware, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might have the super.
There you go then. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna have. So we're gonna have.
I think
Chris Colbert, not a world champion yet, but he's got the WBA regular. Then becomes world champion. By
okay, then I was going to say Daniel Dubois, but he's already got the gold world title, so I can't use him.
He could win the regular title by beating Trevor Bryan. No regulars on here, so yeah, we can have. We'll have.
I don't count that as a thing.
Chris Colbert, really like Chris Colbert.
Yeah,
I did like an hour-long interview with him last year. He's such an engaging guy, and he can really fight.
I'm gutted because like Joe Cordina, I love him. He's so talented, but they're hard. The champion, they're all really good, and I want him to get a breakthrough fight, but I can't see where he sneaks in. There's no easy route for him, I don't think.
The IBF route, we got Agawa's now at match.
I don't think
it's not an easy fight.
I think it's a horrible fight. I was a big for Ogawa actually. When he won the title.
When he beat Fazile, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember did you remember when he boxed Tevin Farmer?
Yeah. No contest.
I feel like, it was in the end. Initially, it was just a robbery. Where Tevin Farmer was a bit too slippery for him and a bit too tricky. I just feel like some of the things that he was able to do to Ogawa, I could see Cordina doing. But the problem that I think we have is last fight, we spoke about this actually, last fight after scoring a brilliant first round knockout in his fight before, you saw Cordina really loading up. You can't do that with a guy.
They're doing the right things with Cordina. You're a naturally lovely, skillful boxer. You've got great movement, timing, all the things you've got. Tick, 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 tick. You lack a bit of strength and a bit of power in your punches, so we'll work on that. And they're working on it. And you can see the development, but that's not his natural game. And if he fights like that against Ogawa and others, he will maybe come unstuck. I'm sort of like that because I want him to win because I love him, but also I'm still the best super featherweight in Cardiff right now. You know what I mean? Like
you are, sir. You are.
So like, even though he's obviously better than me technically and everything, but
and I think you're slightly heavier than 130 at the minute. Barry.
I think you can make the 130.
Yeah, can
he? I should be given a weight because I was never a 130 naturally anyway. I should be given a weight disparity now for the weight disparity I used to give away when I was fighting.
Right, enough out of Barry. Right, Andy. So who's your domestic fighter to win a world title in 2022 and your international?
So I'm going to pick Conlon to beat Lee Wood. That's my pick.
Full world title? Are we going for that as a full world title?
Well, in that division, I think it is.
I think Leo Santa Cruz.
But he says he's fighting at 130. He says he's going to now. I think he says it every sort of 6 months.
It's not going to happen.
The WBA say, listen, Leo, we need you to tell us. And he goes, yeah, man, sure, I'll be back down there. And then
126.
Goes up 130. Yeah, 126, yeah.
He won't make 126.
He ain't making 126.
No, I don't.
No
I can't see
way.
that happening.
I asked, so I was in the gym with Ben Davison the other day, and I said, well, what's going on with Leo Santa Cruz? And he just said, we have no idea. So I have no idea. So okay, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that as a real. Sounds horrible. We'll go for that as a full world title. But because I don't think Leo's coming back, and I think the winner is likely to be elevated. And who do you think wins that? You go with Conlon?
Conlon, yeah. I picked Conlon because he's just a very good technical fighter, and I think he's got the temperament for the big occasion, not to get drawn into the kind of fight that he doesn't need to have. And I think if he sticks to that and he boxes and uses his feet and switches stance and employs all of those technical qualities that he's got, I think he can beat Leigh Wood in what might not be the best fight you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
But he just needs to win, and I think he can do it that way. Yeah, I'm not ruling Leigh Wood out by any stretch, but Michael Conlon could hardly be more different to Can Xu in terms of the way that he's going to go about the fight. He could hardly be more different, and you could argue that Jazza, who beat Leigh Wood, is more Conlon than the other way around, and he struggled with him, and so for those reasons, I would go with Michael, because I just can't see him falling for a kind of trap where he all of a sudden just stands toe to toe and just slugs it out. He's too experienced for that.
Okay, before we move on to your international, so as of 19 hours ago, from our good friends over at Boxing Scene, shout out Rick Reno, Leo Santa Cruz doesn't foresee any issues in returning to the featherweight division and has committed to facing the Wood-Conlon winner.
He shouldn't be allowed. You can't just hold the title ransom.
It's been too long, isn't it? How long has it been? A year and a half?
Since he's boxed at featherweight, I think it's been like 3 years since he's boxed at featherweight.
That's ridiculous. It makes a mockery. It's just hold up everyone's career. Right?
Yeah, hold on. I want to go up and do other things, and you guys will keep that belt for me. Nonsense.
It's garbage, isn't it?
International.
I struggled a bit with this one. But in the end, it's another British fighter. But in the end, I'm going to say Eubank is going to win a world title.
Whoa! Okay.
Against who?
I don't really know. But I'm trying to say that they're going to get him.
Andrade, Charlo, Golovkin.
Andrade, I think, will move up.
They're going to get him.
I don't think Andrade's going to box Alam Kanuli. I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
But then, so you got to fight Munguia then, or something like that.
I don't think Golden Boy would be tripping over themselves to put Munguia in with Alam Kanuli either.
No, I mean, if they had to fight Eubank, for instance.
Eubank versus... It'd probably have to be Eubank, Alam Kanuli. I don't like Eubank in that fight.
No, I don't like him in any.
I quite fancy him to be able to get it done.
Sorry, yeah.
That's quite... Go Eubank. I am surprised by that one. We haven't... So you're going with 2 domestic winners?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Like
Flying the flag. Let's go. Right. Ade.
Mr. DAZN.
Mr. DAZN. Joe Cordina. Okay, right. Yeah. So a bit of Welsh patriotism from somebody.
It's funny because I was just about to interview him ringside after that win last time out against the Belgian. And look,
we know you get lots of work.
Yeah, I thought I'd just mention it. And they scrapped the interview because I was going to obviously push the idea. I was thinking he was going to go through him, not comfortably, but I thought he was going to win. And the idea was to ask him about Ogawa and say, look, obviously Matchroom have just signed him up and surely that's the fight they're going to try and make. And I think he's got the beating of him. I think it will be tough. And look, world titles should be tough. They shouldn't be easy, shouldn't be given. Yeah. There should be tough fights. I think they would have gone it next if he looked really good against the Belgian. Now, obviously, I think they're going to maybe have 1, maybe even 2 more before they go for Ogawa. But I think that's the one. If you're looking at a title, and that's what they're going to do. They're looking at a title and, okay, how can we get it? It's there. And I think Ogawa was, 33? I know he looks good against Azingi Fazili, who I've actually seen up close when I was in South Africa. I've seen him box, and he's fantastic, by the way. Fantastic fighter. I watched him spar as well, though, and almost a bit like the Brazilians in jiu-jitsu and MMA, they kill themselves in sparring. It's ridiculous. So every time you see the South Africans come over to Europe or America, they're just stunned. They've left it all in the gym. So I almost knew that fight was going to play out that way with Ogawa. But I think Joe Cordina is going to win a world title at the back end of 2022.
Where does Zelfa Barrett fit into that mix? Do you think we could potentially see Joe Cordina, Zelfa Barrett? You go, Zelfa Barrett maybe fights Ogawa first. I think he's won an eliminator. They've won an eliminator. I don't know if final eliminator, but we all kind of know the.
I didn't think Zelfa looked great in his last fight. If I'm honest with you, he's fighting a guy who looks about 2 or 3 weight classes. But looked tiny, and I think put him down early. I don't know, was it the Tanzanian based in Australia, wasn't he? Based out of Australia.
Yeah, quite a few people were, I think.
As soon as I saw the size difference in the ring, I was like...
It's like a bantamweight, really.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. And I spoke to his trainer after the fight, and he's like, yeah, we're going down. Not just 1 weight class, we're going to try and go down 2.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Zelfa Barrett versus Joe Cordina, if I'm honest with you. I mean, I really like the idea of Joe Cordina versus Anthony Kakache.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do that fight, will they? I think Akache's a really good fighter.
Well, Joe's, as much as he's like a prospect, he's 30.
Bruno Tarimo.
Yeah. Bruno, yeah.
He's 30 now, so you can't. If he gets the opportunity for the world title, you got to take it.
All those 2016 Olympians are that age. You think, like 6 years? It'll be 6 years since the Olympian. You think all of them really should have.
For a lot of them too.
A lot of them,
particularly Joe.
I know. So they're amateur longer now because you have that funding, so you stay amateur longer. Like when I was a kid, you were eager to turn pro. If you didn't turn pro when you were 20, 21, you were like, "What's wrong with him?"
But I do think with Joe, and you mentioned it, and you're right. Getting that knockout in the first round at fight camp, when everyone thought that was going to be a decent scrap, and I think maybe he thinks he's got that too much now, the power. So I think if he just sticks to his boxing, I think he's a fantastic boxer. Honestly, when you watch him close up, you realise how he sort of glides into it. Honestly, fantastic.
But I think he has to revert back to what he is, not what he's trying to be. That's my worry for him. Like, I want him to win more than anyone, to be honest. But that's my worry for him because he's trying to. I think the last fight where he was dominant up in Liverpool, he's trying too hard to be a crowd pleaser, to sell himself. Because obviously that's the big narrative now. You have to sell yourself to the TV audience and the audience live rather than just win and win well.
I didn't know too much about that Belgian he fought though. He was actually pretty good.
Yeah, he was all right. Good.
Very tough. Took a lot of punches.
That's a quality fight that is for on your way up. That's the fight you need.
Agreed.
Not the fight you want to need to look like supersonic, but the fight you need for your development. But I think he's trying to be too aggressive, where his ability is to make you miss and punish you.
Yeah.
Moving away from Joe Cordina,
why?
Your international, you didn't even pick him. Your international world champion in weighting, Ade, is?
I hope I don't butcher his name. Alam Kanuli?
Alam Kanuli? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we've got an upset of the year bracket here, but I was actually thinking he could beat Demetrius Andrade if they was going to fight. I really did, but I'm with you. I think Andrade will go up to 168. What's he chasing out? 160. He struggles to make the weight, clearly. I mean, he looked tired against Liam Williams. I know he done well against Quigley, but he looked really knackered towards the end there. And I like that Alam Kanuli. I really do. I thought he looked good against Hassan Mdam. Obviously, he got the amateur experience. Big 160-pounder as well. Just fresh as well. He's fresh. And I think he's a problem for a lot of people at 160. You mentioned Chris Eubank Jr. I think that's a nightmare fight for Eubank Jr., someone like that. Yeah. So I think he could win it just by virtue of it being vacated and him fighting someone for it.
Then it just depends on who he boxes, really.
Him versus Munguia.
Yeah, I guess.
I just think with him, I'm just not sure about him yet because
the wins he's had against faded.
Yeah.
Hassan Mdam, Rob Brandt.
He was a really good amateur, and I just think I've become a little bit more cautious with these fighters turning over and moving quick because you look at what's happened to Melakuziev.
Oh, God.
And, Madrimov as well, to an extent. That was very odd, that finish to the fight against Sorrow. And I don't know. I'm not sure about.
Very odd.
We need to see him in with somebody who's actually.
And I
got
understand
some
that
ambition.
Eubank has got his limitations. I understand that. And they are there. And if he's going to win a world title, he'll have to dog it out and do it through sheer guts and willpower, but we know that he's got it.
He's got.
We need to see. For me, with Eubank, we need to see what Eubank turns up against Liam Williams. I don't want to see the Roy Jones tribute act. I don't want to.
No. They need to have figured out that that's not.
I don't think they're going to do it.
No, I don't. And I don't think that's the way to go about it. But if he comes out
when he
and
gets
we see
into a tough fight, he will revert.
He will revert.
It's funny because
that's not always a good thing, but in that instance, it would be.
Particularly against somebody like Alam Kanuli, who is not going to be outboxing or anything. The way to win that fight would be to put a pressure.
It's funny with you, man, because when you watched him early in his career and he threw these million combinations and you go, oh, it's fantastic. But if you just slow down a bit, it'd be so much more effective. But now he's throwing less. Now he's not throwing combinations. You're like, where's all those combinations you used to throw? What set you apart? I think his work ethic, his work rate, was what maybe set him apart, what maybe give him a chance. But if he's trying to be more economical.
Yeah, he's trying to think too much now, isn't he?
He doesn't have the raw power of Roy Jones. Roy Jones could jump in from here to you, and he had that raw power, that natural and timing, perfect timing to catch you perfect. Where even though he's fast, he just doesn't have it. And you might have a little bit of it, but you've got to have it all to box like Roy Jones. And I don't think, as much as Roy Jones said we're not doing that, it clearly is what they do.
I don't even know about Roy Jones' qualities as a trainer. I'm still not entirely sure if that's. I mean, obviously, look, we're all excited by it, and but you can't create another Roy Jones. I almost feel like with Eubank, he's trying to almost create another Roy, and it's just not going to happen.
And also, how would you when you're a fighter like of that quality, like like a great fighter, can you understand why he can't get it? When you're telling someone what to do and he can't do it,
you're
like,
like footballers where you have like a great ex-footballer takes over as a manager of somewhere and he just do this, the things that they take for granted because they used to be able to do it. Yeah. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. Anyway, over to me for my people to become world champions. For the UK, I'm going to go for Anthony Yard. Ooh, Anthony Yard wins a world title this year.
Love it.
Callum Johnson never sees that WBO title shot, by the way. I'm putting it out there now. That's not going to happen. Anthony Yard wins a world title in 2022. And on the world stage...
Are you saying Joe Smith then?
Yes. Yeah, I think he wins the WBO title. And on the world stage, I have two. One, Bam Rodriguez, the light flyweight, who's just signed with Matchroom. He's got Ibuki, they've got Soto, they've got basically kind of that light flyweight through to super flyweight. Matchroom control a lot of the real estate. I think he's a star. He's going to be unbelievable. I think from light flyweight, right, I think he'll end up at like bantam eventually. So him, and then the second one, and this might not happen because boxing, Boots Ennis. It's Boots time. It's coming. It's soon. It's Boots time soon.
That's Spence going.
Somebody's going to vacate a title somewhere along the line.
That's what's got to happen.
Yeah, no one's going to fight him. No one's going to fight him unless they absolutely have to and they've got no better option.
Or he won't beat them.
I think
Barry, I'm with that as well, Barry.
I don't think he does.
I need to see.
You don't think he beats them?
Yeah.
Or doesn't think he gets the title shot?
I don't think he beats the two.
You need someone to vacate.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter.
In a similar position to where Spence was a few years ago, where you're going to have to get to a position where it's ordered and they've got nothing, no better options on the table.
Well,
the
good for him, and maybe for that division to open up again, is that Crawford's mentioned 154. Spence could go up there easily.
Yeah,
and that might
crazy.
I think we see Spence beat. I think Spence beats Ugas by a close/controversial decision.
Yeah. People call him Ugas like he's rubbish.
Ugas very good.
When Conor Benn and all, but they were mentioning Ugas like he's the weak link.
Yeah, Conor Benn's like, well, I'll take the Ugas fight next. I'm like, yeah, you sure you won't fight Robert Guerrero?
I was around Conor Benn, I wouldn't take
That's so when I'm talking to
highly skilled Cuban.
You would take the fight because it's a world title fight.
Yeah,
but they won't take the
fight. But that's the case of I'd rather get beat by Crawford than Spence when I get more credit than get beat by Ugas.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
With the layman are going to.
But I think Boots is ready to go. I think he's ready to go.
Yeah,
I think if after Spence Ugas happens, maybe if Spence wins, maybe he moves up. I think they're looking at him potentially boxing Custio Clayton for a final eliminator for the IBF.
He beats him.
He does beat him. If you want a world title shot, you want somebody to kind of guarantee you a world title shot, and it's a heavyweight apparently recently. Then you go the IBF route because they will enforce
it, don't they?
So I think Rodriguez is my pick, Bam Rodriguez, but I do think it's Boots time. It's coming. He's eventually going to get a shot at a title. He's going to find himself in a position to fight for a world title, and he's going to win one. But maybe politics. And while that big fight is still, however possible, between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford at 147, while that's still lingering, neither of them are going to obviously fight him. So, I will go Bam Rodriguez, but honourable mention to
when you say neither would fight him, obviously the risk reward for Crawford's not there. You don't get
while that big fight is still available. Why would you fight a young, hungry?
No, but the way you said it sounded almost like Crawford would avoid him for fear of losing.
No, not necessarily.
I think
just financial.
None of those guys would think they'll lose to anyone. No, none of them would.
I don't see.
Keith Thurman would think that he'll beat both Crawford, Spence, and
no. I actually don't think Crawford. I don't think Thurman will think that.
I don't know. I think this year I will kind of come onto this. Actually, no, we don't have a category for that. I think Thurman gets retired this year by somebody.
Someone.
It might be Barrios. It might be somebody if he decides to fight twice this year, which would be something.